I paid off my parents' mortgage for 3 straight years, but at the family dinner, my dad raised his glass and said, "Let's thank your brother for covering the house payments all this time." My brother smirked, even though he never paid a cent. My mom just nodded. I didn't say a word, just pulled out my phone, requested a full refund, and watched their smiles disappear one by one. Prat 4. It took me 3 weeks to organize everything. It started with a simple group email. The kind my mom used to send when she was planning a Thanksgiving potluck or reminding everyone about cousin Hannah's graduation. I even used the same subject line to Nat. Family update. Important. The body of the email was short and polite. Hi everyone. I'd like to host a family dinner next Saturday at my place. I've arranged catering, so don't worry about bringing anything. Just bring yourselves. I hope to see you there, Adrian. I didn't hint at what it was about. No drama. No bait. Just a dinner. Some people were suspicious. I got a few texts like, "Is this about Derek? And should we expect something?" I didn't answer those. Let the silence do the work. Curiosity is a powerful tool. When Saturday came, the weather was cool but clear. I'd rented out the rooftop garden space in my building. A quiet, private area with enough room for 20 people, and a gorgeous view of the city skyline. I hired a small catering team. Nothing too fancy. Just enough to make the night feel deliberate. Purposeful. They started arriving around 6. First Maria and her husband. Then Aunt Denise. Then Uncle Ray and his wife. A few cousins showed up together. My mom came alone, which surprised me. Then came Derek, of course, 10 minutes late, wearing sunglasses on his head and that same smug expression that had once fooled everyone. And finally my dad. He looked different. Like a man still figuring out how to carry the weight of his own mistakes. I waited until everyone had eaten. Let the wine pour. The food settle. The conversations warm. For a moment, it almost felt like old times. Almost, then I stood up and tapped my glass with a spoon. "Thanks for coming," I said, and the room quieted instantly. I know this was unexpected. But I've been thinking about something for a while now, and I realized that if I didn't say this, I'd regret it. I took a breath. 3 years ago, when Dad lost his job, I started covering the mortgage on the house. Every single month. Quietly. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't think I had to. I figured it was just what you do for family. A few people nodded. A few froze. But at Dad's birthday dinner, something happened. He gave a toast. Thanked Derek for keeping the house afloat. And no one corrected him. I glanced at Derek. He was staring at me, arms folded. And for a while, I let it go. I told myself it didn't matter. That I didn't need recognition. But here's the truth. It did matter. Not because I wanted praise. But because I wanted honesty. I wanted to believe that doing the right thing still meant something. My mom looked down at her hands. My dad was still as stone. I reached into the folder I'd placed by my chair and pulled out the stack of printed documents. Here's the payment history. My bank account. The transfer receipts. Everything. I didn't pass them around. Just set them on the table. I sent a digital copy to some of you weeks ago. I wanted you to see it for yourselves. Then I turned directly to Derek. And Derek, you let them believe it was you. You let them call you the hero. You soaked it in. And you never once corrected them. Snorted. So what is this, a public shaming? You want me to grovel? No. I said. I want you to leave. The room went completely silent. What? He scoffed, half laughing. You don't get to be here anymore. Not in my home. Not in my space. You took advantage of everyone's silence, including mine. And you haven't earned a seat at this table. He stood up sharply. You think you can just erase me? You erased yourself. Maria muttered from across the table. Derek looked around. No one met his gaze. Not even my mother. You're all seriously doing this? He asked. No one spoke. So he grabbed his jacket and walked out. No, goodbye. No look back. And just like that, he was gone. I turned back to the table. I'm not doing this to create division. But I won't stay quiet anymore just to keep things comfortable. I've spent too long pretending everything's fine. It's not. And it won't be until people are willing to tell the truth. My dad cleared his throat. I owe you more than an apology, he said. I owe you years. He stood up, walked to where I stood, and, for the first time in my life, held out his hand like a man to another man. I shook it. Not because everything was fixed, but because something had shifted. After everyone left that night, my mom stayed behind. She didn't say much, just helped clean up a few things in silence. Before she left, she touched my arm and said, I saw everything. I just didn't want to believe it. I nodded. That's the problem, I said. You didn't want to. She looked like she wanted to say more. But instead, she just nodded once, then left. It wasn't a happy ending. Not exactly. But it was an honest one. In the weeks that followed, things began to realign. Slowly, some family members reached out and apologized. A few confessed they'd suspected something all along but didn't want to stir the pot. Derek moved out of my parents' house, or was asked to. I never asked which. I heard he tried spinning a version of the story to some friends online, but it didn't stick. The receipts were too public now. As for my parents, we're still figuring it out. I don't cover their mortgage anymore. They refinanced, and my dad picked up part-time work at a hardware store while he gets back on his feet. My mom took over budgeting. They never asked me to restart the payments. And honestly, that's how it should be. I'm not the hero. I'm not the victim, either. I'm just someone who got tired of being erased. And now I make sure my voice is heard.